What's up, everybody? This is Coach Raz coming to you with your Tuesday tip-in and the first one of 2016. As you can see, we got a little problem here. Got a little bit of the white stuff. All the same, I hope this year has gotten off to a great start. If it hasn't, I've got a couple questions for you. Number one, now we're at about the 25th or 26th day of January. I'm not asking you to make a New Year's resolution. What I want, because a lot of times New Year's resolutions end up being New Year's rhetoric. Here's what I want you to take note of. What habits have you noticed in the last 20 to 21 days? Research says that it takes 21 days in order for behavior to become a habit, and then it takes 30 days in order for it to become a lifestyle. And as we go into the first quarter of 2016, I want you all to pay attention to the habits, the good habits, the not so good habits, and figure out what you're going to do with them. Whatever your habit may be, you got to understand what the habit loop is. There are three particular things that go into the habit loop. There's the cue, which is a trigger. There's the routine, which is the actual behavior, and then there's the reward, which is actually what you get out of participating in any particular behavior. Now, the challenge in this lifetime is to turn whatever habit you may have into your lifestyle, or allow that habit to determine your lifestyle. The key to success, regardless if you're in high school, college, or you're a working professional, is to turn your particular habits, the ones that are beneficial, into your lifestyle. One of the things that we can learn from the blizzard of 2016 is that when we're talking about adopting a new habit, there's three things we should probably do. One, we have to underthink it. I know you're thinking to yourself, what do you mean? Some things, just like if we're learning new language, if we're learning new behavior, sometimes we just have to dive into it head first and immerse ourselves. Number two, I think what we have to do is systematically chip away at it. Systematically just chip away at what's in front of us. If you look here, you'll see that, you know, as I got out there and shoveled all the snow the past 2 days, there was no getting it done all in one day. I had to systematically take little breaks and go out there when I could and actually chip away at the actual task at hand. When we talk about that habit loop, we talked about the cue. The cue that got me out there, the thing that got me out there, was the fact that the weather had changed. So in order to change that behavior, sometimes you have to underthink it, because a lot of times if we overthink it, we may get scared, and honestly, we may actually not even go ahead and take the risk that new behavior, that new habit requires. And so when we talk about getting out of there, we got to underthink it, and then we chip away at it. But last but not least, we have to objectively evaluate what we've actually accomplished. And when you talk about evaluation, again, we talk about that habit loop, and it has to do with the cue, the routine, and the reward. When we think about what that cue really means, that means people, places, or situations that actually motivates us to move. And we talk about the routine is that we have to actually carve out a path to our process, or a path to our progress, or a path to success. And last but not least, the reward has to be in a place where we're going to look back and say, okay, there's an intrinsic value in accomplishing a particular task, or adopting a new habit, or adopting that new habit and ultimately turning it into a lifestyle. One author, Charles Duhigg, has a great book out called The Power of Habit. And in that, he talks about how we change bad habits, or get rid of bad habits, or change a particular habit. And he says, we talked about the cue, we talked about the routine, and we talked about the reward. But he says in order to change out of a bad habit, or change a certain habit to a good habit, you have to keep the cue and the reward. In other words, the things and the places and the people that allow you to focus on a particular behavior, and the reward, whatever that reward may be. So as we go through this first quarter of the new year, again, I don't want to hear about New Year's resolutions. I want you to take each day as it comes. I want you to play the game in front of you. It's improving your grades, your academic performance, your participation in class. When we talk about the power of habit, let's be about creating a different routine every day, but a routine that actually plays to our strengths. Let's operate more from the heart versus the mind so much, because sometimes we tend to overthink. And again, one of the things I told you to do was to underthink things. Sometimes you have to immerse yourself in a situation before you make changes to the routine or to the strategy as you chip away at that particular goal. as we dig our way out of this blizzard in 2016, I want you to take that time. Hopefully you took some time to get some rest. You got some things, you emptied the bucket that maybe on your bucket list. Maybe you caught up on some things. Maybe you just had a chance to really reflect on what the task is at hand that's right in front of you for each day or each hour. Whatever it is, as we dig out of this blizzard of 2016, I want you to take maybe that quiet time, that time hopefully you took to really reflect on what it is you're really destined to do, or your desire to do. And I want you to take advantage of that. And I want you to take every single day, and I want you to change the routine in a positive way. In other words, if it's exercising, I want you to do one more rep the next day. If you're changing your routine and how you study, I want you to take advantage of studying 1 or 2 pages more, taking 2 or 3 more pages of notes, or actually maybe reading that text maybe 2 or 3 more times than you already did. I want you to really focus on changing the routine so that the reward is a reflection of your change in the routine. Listen, I wish you good luck. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and hopefully I don't have to shovel any more snow. You all take care of yourselves. Be safe, stay warm, and we'll see you next Tuesday.